There's a lesson that I learned a week ago, and I just thought that it would be good to share it with you guys. So I have this family member who's been asking me to come over to their house and hang out with them and spend more time with them. And I was resisting it for a long time. And then God gave me a cause, a purpose to go over there that would benefit both me and them. And so, I was like, you know what? Let me just get this over and done with. Holy Spirit, guide this word. I said, let me just get this over and done with. Let me just go meet with them, satisfy their need to see me because, I'm graduating in 2 months. These next 2 months, May and June, are going to be extremely busy, extremely eventful days. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and, just go over to this family member's house. And so I went and I spent time there, and I woke up the first night I slept over there. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning and I was itching. I was uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep. The pillows weren't high enough for me, poofy enough for me. The room wasn't for me. The windows didn't open. I felt stuffy, and I literally stayed up for like 2 more hours. Then I went back to bed, and let's just say it was a super uncomfortable sleep. And then when it came to the morning where I had to brush my teeth and get ready, I decided not to take a shower in the morning, but take a shower when I get back home. And I actually decided to go home earlier than I was supposed to do because it just wasn't for me. The washroom wasn't what I was used to. Just the morning routine and everything wasn't what I was used to. And so I had some time with God, and we were speaking, and God was telling me, I'm just giving you an outlook as to what university might be like. You're telling me you're so ready for this. You're telling me you can't wait to leave, and you're in this state of urgency. You're in this state of, I want to rush things, but I'm showing you that this change and this transition isn't going to be as easy as you think it is. And it's not to punish you, but it's to show you that life isn't always what we imagine it to be. And so I sat there and I really did have a moment of gratitude, not just for everything that God has given me in my life, but also just because of how many things we take for granted on a day-to-day basis. In my mom's house, in my parents' house, I have my own washroom. I have a vanity. I have all my skincare products lined up. I have a marble shower. I have a window that's beautiful and functioning and working. I don't say all of this to show off because, my washroom is newly renovated or whatever. I don't say that to show off, but I say that to say, I'm spoiled, and a lot of us are spoiled, and we live this lifestyle of entitlement where we feel like we're entitled to these things, when the truth is life doesn't owe us a thing, and God does not owe us anything, and everything can be taken away from us at the snap of a finger. And even though my house and everything wasn't taken away from me, I just went to sleep over at somebody else's house. God used that as an example to teach me that I should be grateful for what I have. And I'm over here I'm so excited to live on my own and go to university. And God said, well, you're probably not going to experience real luxury until you move out into your own apartment, because these university residences, they've been used and reused and used and reused. And so this beautiful life you think you're going to have here, what you're really doing is taking for granted the life that I've already given you. And so he taught me all about gratitude in that moment. And it was very humbling and very eye-opening because I haven't had an uncomfortable sleep like that in, honestly, I think months. I really haven't had an uncomfortable sleep. My bed has always been so comfortable. I've had 2 pillows. My sheets have always been clean. The fan is on. The window is open when I want it to be. And I live like a princess. I really do. And so when I had that change of environment, not only did it teach me that, shifting from high school to university, the change of environment is going to be difficult for me to cope with, but it also taught me how much I need to be grateful for. And being grateful doesn't mean being covetous and being I don't want to leave here. I have to be grateful for this. I have to stay here. But being grateful simply means being in the present moment and being thankful for everything that you have in the present moment, and then realizing that life has different steps and different levels to it. And sometimes you go at a very high and then you get to a very low, and then you get to a middle ground, right? But basically what God was trying to teach me was that we live like kings and queens, and our situations could be so much more difficult. Our situations could be so much more harder. And we often complain about stupid materialistic things or little things that bother us, and sometimes we need that reality check of being in a different environment or experiencing something new to see that we've actually been taking what we have for granted. And so if you're in a season where you feel like God is humbling you, or where you feel like, you're getting things stripped away from you, maybe you should consider, could it just be that you've been very spoiled, with what God has given you, or you've lost a sense of who really runs things, right? Because the Bible does say the Lord giveth and he taketh away. The Bible does say that everything under the sun, it belongs to the Lord. The Bible does say that nothing here belongs to us, but God gives it to us. Paul said that he plants, Apollos waters, but God gives the grain. God gives the fruit. And so we have to remember that we think we have these things. We think we own these things. We think these things give us status, but in reality, this can be taken away from us in the blink of an eye. We can go from a very privileged situation to a very underprivileged situation. And it's all about the attitude that we have. And so if you have this attitude of entitlement and constantly being privileged, when you go from everything to nothing, you're going to continue to have that attitude. And that is not an attitude that God blesses. But if you're able to be humble and if you're able to be grateful in those high places, when God brings you low, when God pulls you back, like the bow and arrow, when God pulls you and stretches you so far back, and when he launches you, you will go to a place that you could have never imagined. Why? Because you have an attitude of gratitude.